Some memories brand themselves into your soul like hot iron, burning deeper with each passing year. For me, it's not just the violence I remember, or the terror. It's the way normalcy shattered in an instant. How an evening of romance became a desperate fight for survival. My name is Rachel Mitchell, and this is the story of how my first date became my worst nightmare. Online dating was a numbers game. Swipe, match, disappoint. Until Sam. His profile was different. Not in the way most were different. No gym selfies, no carefully curated life highlights. Just absence. A void that seemed to pull you in. Sam earned my trust over 3 months of messages, each one carefully crafted to make me feel seen, understood. His words were gentle, his humor quick but never cruel. When he finally asked to meet in person, it felt like the natural next step. Tuscany's was a small Italian restaurant in downtown Bloomington, Illinois. The kind of place where the owner still makes his mother's recipes and knows his regulars by name. Sam was waiting outside when I arrived. I saw him before he saw me. Tall, broad-shouldered, standing outside the restaurant in a navy blazer that seemed tailored to his frame. My breath actually stopped. A visceral, oxygen-stealing moment of pure awareness. His profile pictures hadn't captured the nuanced reality of him. The way his laugh lines suggested depth beyond mere surface charm. The way his posture suggested both confidence and careful observation. "The pictures didn't do you justice," he said, pulling out my chair. Such a simple line, but the sincerity in his voice made me blush. The evening unfolded like a dream. Sam was even better in person. Attentive without being overbearing. Funny without trying too hard. He listened intently as I rambled about my work in graphic design, asked thoughtful questions about my family, and shared stories about his time as a private security contractor that made me laugh and cry in equal measure. "Most people think security is about walls and cameras," he said during dinner, swirling his wine. "It's really about understanding vulnerabilities. Everyone has a breaking point." The words hung in the air, more ominous than he likely intended. But by the time we finished sharing a slice of tiramisu, I felt like I'd known him for years. "I have a decent bottle of Cabernet at home," he said as we stepped into the cool autumn air. "If you'd like to continue the conversation?" There was no pressure in his voice, just an open invitation. I hesitated for a moment, all those warnings about first dates and stranger danger flickering through my mind. But Sam had been nothing but respectful, and something about him made me feel safe. "I'd like that," I heard myself say. As we walked to our cars, Sam's eyes lingered on a dark sedan idling across the street, its headlights off. "Probably nothing," he muttered, almost to himself. But I noticed how he positioned himself between me and the car as we walked. "Everything okay?" I asked. He smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. "Just hypervigilant, I guess. Occupational hazard of running a private security firm. You see the worst of human nature in this business." His house was a 1950s brownstone on a quiet street lined with mature oaks. Warm light spilled from mason jar lanterns on the porch, and window boxes overflowed with late-blooming mums. It was exactly the kind of home I'd imagined for him. Charming, well-maintained, reflecting both care and character. Inside, vintage concert posters and black and white photographs decorated walls the color of warm honey. Sam excused himself to open the wine, leaving me to admire a particularly striking photo of the Chicago skyline. "Did you take these?" I called out. "Amateur photography is my guilty pleasure," he replied from the kitchen, "though I'm better at capturing buildings than people." The wine was excellent, rich and complex. We settled onto his leather couch, close but not touching, as conversation flowed effortlessly between us. I was just thinking how perfectly the evening had turned out when everything changed. "Did you hear that?" he asked, voice low. I listened but heard nothing. "What is it?" "Probably nothing," he said again, but he set down his glass and moved to a window, peering through a gap in the curtains. "That same car from the restaurant. It just drove past. Slow." My stomach tightened. Should we be worried? Sam's head snapped up. Did you hear that? I listened, but heard only the soft jazz playing from his speakers. What is it? Probably nothing, he said again, but he set down his glass and moved to the window with fluid grace, peering through a gap in the curtains. That same car from the restaurant, it just drove past, moving slow. My stomach clenched. Should we be worried? Let me activate the security system, he said, moving toward a sleek panel beside the door. Better safe than... 3 sharp knocks cut through the night like gunshots. Sam's entire demeanor transformed, tension radiating from every muscle as he checked the porch camera feed. A hooded figure stood there, head bowed. My car broke down, a muffled voice called. Phone's dead. Could I use yours? Sam pressed a button, his voice broadcasting outside. There's a gas station 2 blocks north. Open 24/7. Please, man, it's freezing out here. Sam turned to me, his expression grave. Something's wrong. That sedan's pulled up outside. He stepped away from the panel, moving toward me. Rachel, I need you to... The door exploded inward with a crash that seemed to shake the foundations. A hooded figure burst through as Sam lunged for the touch panel. His fingers had just brushed it when the first shot cracked through the air. Sam stumbled, clutching his shoulder as blood bloomed across his expensive blazer. No panic room, Sam managed through clenched teeth. Just a regular house. The larger man pistol-whipped him viciously. Don't lie, we know exactly who you are. Your security setups are legendary, Mr. CEO. My mind raced as I worked at the zip tie, feeling it bite into my wrist. The panel was just feet away, its red panic button glowing like a beacon of hope. Check upstairs. The larger man ordered his partner. Rich boy like this probably has a whole command center up there. The moment the smaller man disappeared upstairs, I made my move. I'd worked one hand partly loose, ignoring the plastic cutting into my flesh. I lunged for the panel with everything I had, and the world exploded in fire and sound. Pain blazed through my side as I hit the floor, but my fingers found their target. Sirens immediately began screaming, emergency lights strobing in disorienting patterns. No, the larger man roared, firing wildly in the chaos. I felt another shot graze my arm, heard Sam grunt as he took another bullet. But the system worked exactly as designed. The combination of lights, sirens, and automated announcements sent the intruders fleeing into the night. What followed was a blur of paramedics, police, and pain medication. The bullet in my side had somehow missed anything vital. Sam's injuries, shoulder, leg, and chest, were all millimeters away from being fatal. The doctors called it miraculous. Later in the hospital, I wheeled myself into Sam's room to hear the full story. He told me about the string of home invasions targeting wealthy executives across the city, how 3 couples had already been tortured and killed for access to their security systems and valuables. We were meant to be number 4. I should have trusted my instincts the moment I saw that car, he said, his voice rough with pain and regret as I reached for his hand. We survived, I whispered, squeezing his fingers. That's what matters. 2 months later, police caught the home invasion crew trying to hit another executive's house. They'd killed 6 people before targeting us, and we were the only ones who survived. Sometimes I wonder if it was luck, skill, or something else that saved us that night. Maybe it was all 3. Sam and I still see each other. How could we not after what we survived together? What would you have done in my situation? Would you have trusted your gut when something felt off? Or would you have dismissed it as paranoia? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime stories that explore the thin line between ordinary life and extraordinary danger. Hit that notification bell to never miss an upload. Stay safe out there.